Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel NCRT series. Today we are starting with a new chapter, that is chapter 8, Ashoka the emperor who gave up war. So a very big kingdom is equal to an empire. So Ashoka was one of the greatest rulers known to history. The empire that Ashoka ruled was founded by his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya more than 2300 years ago. And Chandragupta Maurya was supported by a wise man. His name was Chanakya, or even he is called as Kautilya. And many of Chanakya's ideas were written down in a book that is called as Arthashastra. So the lion that this lion we see in our notes and on coins. So this lion has a very long history, and this is carved in a stone which is placed on the top of a massive stone pillar at Sarnath. Next we shall see what is dynasty. So when members of the same family become rulers one after another, the family is often called as dynasty. So Mauryas, they were also a dynasty with three important rulers. So those important rulers are Chandragupta and his son Bindusara and Bindusara's son Ashoka. So in this map, this map shows the places where inscriptions of Ashoka have been found, and those places are marked with the red dots. Next topic. How are empires different from the kingdoms? So emperors need more resources than king because empires are larger than the kingdoms and need to be protected by big armies. So also they need a large number of officials who collected these taxes. Next is ruling the empire. So the area around the Pataliputra was under the direct control of the empire because Pataliputra was the capital. And as the empire was so large, different parts were ruled differently. So the area around the Pataliputra was under the direct control of the emperor. This meant that even officials were appointed to collect taxes from farmers, herders, craftspersons, and traders, and even they collected taxes from the people who used to live in the villages and towns. And spies were kept a watch on these officials, and there were other provisions that was ruled from the provisional capital, such as Taxil and Ujjain. So Pataliputra was the capital and Taxil and Ujjain was the provincial capital. And there was a vast areas between these capitals in these centers. So here the Mauryas tried to control the roads and rivers, which were very important for the transport and to collect whatever resources were available as tax and tribute. In Arthashastra tells us that the northwest was important for blankets and the South India for its gold and precious stones. It is possible that these resources were collected as a tribute. So we shall see what is this tribute. So unlike taxes which were collected on a regular basis, tribute was collected as and when it was possible from people who gave a varieties of things, more or less willingly. Next, Ashoka, a unique ruler. So the most famous Mauryan ruler was Ashoka. He was the first ruler who tried to take his message to the people through inscriptions, and most of Ashoka's inscriptions were in a Prakrit and were written in a Brahmi script. So Prakrit was the ordinary language, so people could understand it very well. Next, Ashoka's war in Kalinga. Kalinga is the ancient name of coastal Orissa. And Ashoka fought a war to conquer Kalinga. After that, he was so horrified when he saw the violence and bloodshed, so that he decided not to fight any more wars. So he is the only king in the history of the world who gave up the conquest after winning a war. And there is an Ashoka's inscription described about the Kalinga war, where he says that after 8 years of him becoming as a king, he conquered Kalinga. In that, more than 1.5 lakh people were captured and more than lakh of people were killed. So this made him very sorrow. So whenever an independent land has to be captured, lakhs of people will die and many are taken as a prisoners, and even Brahmins and monks also die. And the people who are kind to their relatives, friends, to their slaves and servants, they also die. So he said he have decided to observe Dhamma. Dhamma is a Prakrit word for the Sanskrit term Dharma. So he decided to observe Dharma and to teach others about it as well. And he believed that winning people over Dharma is much better than conquering them through the force. So he started inscribing this message for the future so that his son and his grandson should not think about war. Next, so what was Ashoka's Dhamma? One second. What was Ashoka's Dhamma? Ashoka's Dhamma did not involve worship of a god or a performance of a sacrifice. He is inspired by the teachings of Buddha. There were a number of problems that troubled him. People in the empire followed different religions and they sometimes led to the conflict. Animals were sacrificed, slaves and servants were ill treated, and there were quarrels in families and amongst the neighbors. So Ashoka felt that it was his duty to solve these problems. So he appointed the officials. These officials are known as Dhamma Mahamatta. So they went from place to place teaching people about the Dhamma. And besides this, Ashoka even got his message inscribed. And he said his officials to read those messages, those who can't read. And Ashoka also sent messages to spread ideas about Dhamma to other lands such as Syria, Greece and Sri Lanka. So you could see in the image, this is a Rampurva bull and it's a finely polished stone sculpture. This was a part of a Mauryan pillar that was found in the Rampurva, Bihar. Now it is in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. So yeah, this was all about this chapter, and all these notes are available in my Instagram ID UPSC Zone. Please do follow it, link in the description. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe my channel NCERT series, and do press the bell icon to get the notification as soon as I upload any of the videos. Thank you so much.